Hello, everyone. Raymond Moore, Kilted Prepper. How's everybody doing this evening? Um, my wonderful wife is missing at the moment because she is putting our daughter to bed. It was a crazy day today. Picked up, excuse me, picked up and a bunch of plants, and we got a really good deal on tomatoes and cucumbers and other plants like that. And we found a local source here, and she grows her own and sells them. And the great thing is that by having plants that are grown here, they are hardened to this zone, and people are I mean, the plants are used to the cold and the heat and the rain and everything. And so anytime that you are getting plants for your garden, it is great to get on Facebook or Nextdoor or Craigslist and see if there's any people that are growing locally so that it's used to the area. So we went out today and picked up a whole carload of plants. And the wonderful thing is that she was selling them for $1 each, and they're all heirlooms and everything like that. So she does a great job of growing her own plants and everything. So we were having a very busy afternoon, and then also our daughter had a birthday party to go to, and so she came home all hot and stinky, and so I had to get her in the bathtub, get her fed, and all that other stuff, and so uh, but we did all that. And so Miss Cynthia is still putting the child to bed and running a little late. So do me a favor, if you're out there and you can hear me and everything okay, please give us a thumbs up. And in fact, if you are new and you're watching this right now, do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share, and then ring that little bell so you get notified whenever we post live videos or we post other videos and everything, or when we just post, period. But let us know that you've done that, and then we love hearing discussions from you. So don't be afraid to comment below and things. So it's waiting for Miss Cynthia. So we got 4 folks in the room. Awesome. This is great. Tonight's topic is, and I don't know if you guys saw my article on this or anything, but I thought it was actually vitally important to give you guys some serious heads up that we are looking at a global semiconductor microchip shortage, big time. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens and what transpires over the next couple years, because we don't have any microchips, and the thing is, they're not being made. Hey, here's Miss
Right.
Cynthia. Hey,
Yeah.
sweetie.
I got the
It's good on.
child in bed, got the dogs kenneled.
Awesome. So here, scoot on
It's
in.
good on get closer to you.
Yeah. So,
There.
but so you got her okay? Got her all put
she
away?
is bed. She is in bed. She said prayers, brush your teeth.
Yep.
The 2 problem children dogs are in their kennel, so
Good. So
we should be good.
But continuing on here, the biggest thing, and let me share this slide with you here. This is pretty serious. What folks don't realize, how this war over in Europe is really affecting the world globally. And what we see here is Russia, Belarus, and Ukrainian major exports. The first column is what they supply the world first and foremost. Second column, again, second. Third column is third. And when we start looking at these things, there's a lot of stuff that Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine do supply. And the biggest thing here is neon and then platinum group, the platinum group metals. That's rhodium, what else? Rhodium, platinum, palladium. And so these 2 components right here are greatly needed, because these are what microchips are made out of. I mean, there was copper and nickel and things as well. But if without these microchips are not going to be made. And
Do we have those?
what
Those
what
metals?
no, we don't.
Okay, I didn't think we did.
I mean, there are sources worldwide, but they are not to the level that Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus produce.
Okay, so
and
they're the major.
so they are the major
Okay.
top providers, suppliers
Mhm.
globally. And so with these things disappearing, then it's going to really hurt us badly. So for example, Russia is the number one producer of neon. And what we're seeing here is, oops, let's go with that one. Whoops. Let's see, let's go with this one. Nope. So let's remove this.
There you go.
But let's see what's I'm getting all miscombobulated. And here we go. So all these things are provided globally and produced for the world, and Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus produces all these. So we see that natural gas, neon, processed nickel. Russia is one of the top is the top exporter of wheat. Russia is also the top exporter of fertilizer and potash. In fact, Belarus and Russia both. And then secondly is we see the palladium groups. And so that's palladium, rhodium, and platinum. And so these things, as well as copper, goes into chips and everything like that. But all these things, these three countries produce, and because of the war, there are now global shortages of these items. And folks, like it or not, they are not coming back. And the big one is neon. Because with neon, it is produced in South Russia with the steel mills. Steel mills, the process is you got to separate the gases. So the steel mills, what they do is they pull out the nitrogen and they pull out the oxygen, and that's what they use to make steel. And then they trap the rest of the gases, put them in canisters, and then ship those off to Mariupol, which is in Ukraine. And those, what happens there is they then separate it into argon, neon, and some of the other, gases that are needed as well. Well, the thing is all those steel mills that were producing these gases, or at least separating some of these gases in the first stage, are now under sanctions. And basically all these steel mills are now shut down or barely operating. And then the second phase, where the gases were then separated and everything, took place primarily in a city in Ukraine called Mariupol. Well, Mariupol is a big crater, and the city is gone. It's wiped out.
Who wiped out Mariupol?
Russia.
They took out the whole city.
They took out the whole city. The city, I mean, I'm sure there's people there and everything, but all the factories, everything. Oh, wow. Mariupol is flattened. And if you bring up pictures of Mariupol, you'll see it. It is a wasteland. Oh. So, Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, well, Russia and Ukraine, produce 70% of the world's neon. And so the other 30% is produced by China. Now, what you need neon for is to focus the apertures of the lasers that etch all the chips. And so no neon means no chips. And then also with palladium, rhodium, and palladium, again, none of that, no chips. So we are looking at a massively global shortage of medium and large chips, basically 10 nanometers and larger of these chips. And these are all the super chips that a lot of electronics use. And high-end things. And so these chips are the things that will makes basically everything go. And they are not going. They are not there. And so it's important to remember that these chips are basically gone for the next 3 to 5 years. And the reason I say 3 to 5 years, because there is no infrastructure or manufacturing or anything like that that can produce medium to high-end chips anywhere in the world. Now everybody's saying, oh, okay, well, what about China? Well, China creates the low-end chips. I mean, these are the chips that, you know, if you got a dryer that sings to you when it finishes and everything,
which we do,
that is the low-end chip. And so China has boatloads of low-end chips and everything. And they also produce, you know, the rest of the neon, which is about 30%. But again, this is not going to answer a global need. And so what is eventually going to be needed is manufacturing being created, which is going to take 3 to 5 years to ramp up the neon and then the high-end, medium-end chip manufacturing and everything, and so forth. So why we're saying all this is
what are we getting to here?
Is because bottom line is, if you need a new one of these like we do, then go out and get it before the summer's end, because come fall, we are going to start seriously feeling the chip shortage. And so some of the things that people are going to be missing out on, again, cell phones. And because a lot of the cell phones use high-end 10 nanometer and above chips. And so these, you know, are going to be hard to find. And so I really encourage you guys, you know, get the latest and greatest, because the iPhone 14, 14 Plus, and then the Samsung 23, they are the last versions.
I heard that was the last iPhone that was coming out.
It's the last iPhone coming out, and it's the Samsung 23 is the last Samsung coming out, because the chips are not there on a mass scale. So, you know, Tesla, I don't know if you caught the stock report or the Elon Musk recently had a stock meeting and had to answer to the investors and all that other stuff. And what he's been doing is lowering the price of Tesla. Why? And I mean, it really doesn't.
Can we guess why?
Yeah, because there's no chips. And so he's basically trying to get them all off the showroom floor and everything like that, because it is better to have to sell the car and get it out there and then need to repair it versus you know, needing to sell the car. So because Elon sees the writing on the wall and knows that microchips are going to be a great shortage, and there's a boatload of freaking high-end microchips in the Tesla. It drives itself, it does all this other fancy stuff. These are not low-end chips. And so cell phones, Teslas, and such are going to be in great shortage. And so I really highly advise you, you know, if you need a new stinking PS5 or something like that, which has the high-end chips, you're going to be, you know, kind of up the creek without a paddle, or you're going to be paying a lot of bucks for these, you know, items. And so expect to be paying 2, 3, maybe even 4 times the price for these high-end items. So,
well, where would they get the chips if there are no chips? Where would they get?
They don't.
They don't.
They just plain old
stock is what's going to go up in
price.
What
is in stock is what's going to go up in price. And you know, there's
inventory.
Small chip manufacturers here and there, and a lot of the chip manufacturers have been hoarding neon like crazy, because palladium, and rhodium are still somewhat available from other sources. It's just slower. But like Raytheon is a major chip maker, Intel, all these, but I know for a fact Raytheon is hoarding neon. And so they're at least kind of seeing the writing on the wall, and you know, but it's going to run out too. And until someone somewhere starts producing neon again, which means they have to be also producing steel, because that's one of the first steps, you know, is separating oxygen and nitrogen from that and then pulling the gases. Now, I'm sure they could probably, you know, pull the gases off other ways and everything, but that seems to be a more expensive method of doing it and things. So, I've been all doing all the talking here.
I know, because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
obviously
this is a great concern. And so what I highly recommend is, for example, man, if you need a new gaming computer or something like that, jump on it. because the chips for computers are also going to come in shortage, and you're not going to be able to find them. So anything that you need that will utilize a high-end chip, meaning anything that, if you got a margarita machine that, sings to you the cucaracha when it's done mixing margaritas, then that's, start getting your stuff now. Because
Would
again,
that be a high-end chip?
no, that's a cheap end
That's
chip.
a cheap,
That's
yeah.
cheapy. That's
Yeah.
cheap Chinese stuff.
Right.
Basically, all the cheap Chinese stuff is cheap for a reason, but it is because they have the low grade chips. And the thing is, China does not have the capability, nor technology, or the infrastructure, nor the manufacturing to even create medium to high end chips. And so all the medium high end chips are made in the US, Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea. Those are the only places.
So we can make them here.
We can make them here.
Okay. So we could gear up in America and
Yes.
actually recover from this if we do it here in our own homeland.
Yes.
Make us self-sufficient from the Chinas and the Taiwans
Yes.
of the world.
We
That'd
can.
be good.
But
we need to.
We have the manufacturing to back that up? Do we have the ability to basically get the neon? And the neon is the critical issue, because there is a global shortage, and it's gone. It ain't coming back. So, and this is a pure D fact. 70% of the world's neon is not coming back because Russia's steel mills are not running, and Maripol has been wiped off the face of the earth. And that's where all our neon globally to make microchips came from. And so with those things in mind, start running through your head, what things do I need? For example, our Toyota needs some new car sensors. Well, these are not cheap Chinese chips. So we need to get in there, get those things fixed.
Yeah, fix the vehicles.
Yeah.
Now.
Fix your vehicles now.
iPhones.
New iPhones, or if you want the latest and greatest, get it now while prices are still low, so that you can, have it. Because once the chip shortage really, becomes mainstream, then everybody and their brother is going to be running after anything and everything that has microchips.
What about televisions? They're pretty low end chips. Aren't they like our big TV?
I would say yes and no, but because they have internet built in, a lot of the smart TVs, more and more TVs are coming with Alexa built in, which needs voice processing and everything. Those are going to go, up in price too, and things. So the biggest thing is, once the shortage hits, everything's going to jump in massive price. And so imagine paying 2, 3, 4 times the price of what you would for some of these electronics. So this is why we're really warning people right now to get out there and start, getting these things. I'm going to turn some of this over to you. You've got some.
No, mine. When we started talking about this last night, it was like, my mind just started reeling of all these different things that chips are, just like our washer and dryer, and the fact that I can go upstairs and turn it on, come downstairs, get the clothes out, and we were talking about all the different places for chips, especially in
our dryer though, and our washer do have some high-end chips.
Yeah, they do sing to us.
They sing to us. That's low grade. But they have sensors. They control the whole
they weigh
everything.
All the clothes
they weigh
and
it.
stuff.
They do all that.
Thankfully, they're only a year old.
Say they're probably just a medium grade chip.
Okay.
So
what I was looking at as we started talking about this, they're the obvious ones, but these are some I found that I thought were really interesting. Intel has come out with a chip they can put in a football player. So all you women that have sons that play football, they can put a chip in the football player's helmet that will alert them if the boy has been hit hard enough to have a head injury. For a mom, if I had a son, I would love that. But I had no idea that they were doing this or that they're proposing to do it. I think that's amazing. I think it's great. I love technology. I just love technology. That would be great if you had a son that was playing football. You'd be able to monitor and see if your boy got hit hard enough to need to go to the hospital, and, if he had a concussion. So that was the first one I came along. I thought was really, really interesting. This one has introduced, Aqua One Technologies has introduced a chip that automatically will shut off the water if your toilet springs a leak or starts to overflow. And they've also says reportedly developed a intelligent potty that gathers health data from your urine and sends the health data from your urine in your toilet to your doctor's office.
Yep.
In our case, he would be finding dog saliva because we have filtered water for our dogs, but our Scooby likes to drink out of the toilet. But I mean, I think that is amazing too.
Yeah.
You know.
And so it's, a lot of these, especially with like the Japanese toilets, a lot of these Japanese toilets, again, are high-end chips because they just don't sit there and sing to you. They will take your weight. They will do your blood pressure. They will
Toilet.
Yeah, it will monitor or break down, do a urinalysis on you. I mean, all these things that the Japanese toilets are freaking expensive.
I bet so.
But they basically do.
When Sarah doesn't use it too often, and it will flush.
So we've got some comments here.
Let's read those.
We got Christine here. During the health crisis where everyone was flush in cash and buying cars and like crazy, but the chipsets couldn't be found. Our Chevy dealer twice offered to buy back their car
or truck.
In any condition, no question, because they couldn't find the chips.
Couldn't find the chips.
Casper the Friend of Pepper. Strange how all this is coming to full circle.
It is.
And then electronic survival. Intel years ago had a semi truck full of chips hijacked. They were actually worth more than the gold at time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's
chips
amazing.
Are going to be another. Yeah, it was like with electronic survival. I can start seeing chips
being writing on the wall,
being instead of going after this, the people, crime syndications or so forth, they're going to start dealing in chips because, again, we are looking at a 3 to 5 year shortage. And this is scientific. What is it? Electronic scientific or scientific. I could post the article down in the description or something like that. But they are even coming out and saying the chips are just not there. And so it's going to take some country, and hopefully the U.S. steps up, because if the U.S. steps up, that will really put us in a very good position. But if there's no chips, there's just no chips, and so we're going to be, people are going to be scraping and begging and borrowing and looking in corners and back rooms and everything like that. And so it's critical that you get, your chips. Here's another one you found, sweetheart.
Yeah, this is one about fishing reels. Shimano of Japan have chips in them. They can control how how fast the spool or the lines go. I mean, that almost seems to me like you're cheating. Yeah. I mean, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's kind of like putting corn out for deer and then sitting on your front porch and shooting them. And that just kind of seems like it's cheating. But I mean, who would think that they'd be putting chips in a fishing pole? I can see so far as like we watch Deadliest Catch a lot, and we love that. And I can see where all the technology so far is catching these large, $5 billion in kit fish. But just to go fishing with your child and have a chip in your line, that just to me seems like it's kind of seems like it's cheating.
Well, here Debbie talks about Biden shut down mining for any of all the stuff that's needed, and I know
absolutely, Debbie.
And the thing is like it or not, the U.S. is literally positioned in a good position over the 3 to 5 years to really step up manufacturing. Because with everything that's taking place with Russia, again, check this out. I mean, this is what we are looking at, losing globally these items because these are things that are produced in Russia. And Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. And so now a lot of the crude oil and natural gas, we in America are sitting pretty. So us in Saudi Arabia,
if we could mine it,
if we can drill, baby, drill.
Right.
But
we were doing well while we were drilling.
So we are actually energy independent, and we are going to go get to a place sooner or later where whoever is president is going to have to really start pushing an initiative to build manufacturing, start pumping, start drilling, and then natural gas. I mean, we are sitting on, 500 years worth of natural gas. and it's basically free energy. I was watching this one video, and they were showing somewhere in Idaho where they have all these natural gas, or these oil rigs. Well, they have so much natural gas, they're just burning it.
Yeah.
And you see that down in
You see down
Houston
in Texas too, the
and everything.
burn-off.
It's just burning. And so we have so much natural gas that we just toss it away. But I say all that because they've taken pictures at night, via satellite, and you can see this area all lit up from all the refineries and everything burning off their natural gas. And so the U.S. is sitting in a good position, and hopefully whoever becomes president, will pardon?
I can't reach it.
I can. So whoever's president
I can
will
Can I wear it?
yeah, go ahead.
I'll
Will bring back manufacturing, bring back these things, because again, the U.S. is sitting in a very interesting position to where we can really dominate the world in the next 3 to 5 years, and start really doing some great things. And but what we're seeing at the moment is almost a deglobalization, especially with Russia and China. Issues happening with China, and again, I was watching I watch YouTube and read books and all this other stuff. I was watching another YouTube video, and this one global strategist was talking about how China now has less people due to their, what was it, 40 years ago, 50 years ago?
Yes, when they did the
one child policy.
Yeah.
Well, now it's coming to where China has the oldest population on Earth. In fact, throughout history, they have the oldest population, and then not enough young people to basically take care of the elderly, get the economy moving, and everything like that. So if you would, a triangle is what you want with the population: youngest here, oldest here. Well, China is inverted. They have youngest here, oldest up there. And so they don't have the population. And so with the wars going on with Russia and everything, and all the sanction, Russia's just basically out of here. China, because of their population issue and everything, out of here. Now, again, I'm talking 3, 5, 10 years. So we're seeing a big change in the global strategy going on, and we're seeing almost a deglobalization taking place. Now, there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of suffering, and a lot of high prices and inflation coming along. And this is something that Cynthia and I are doing, is we're working super hard to ensure that we create our own personal supply chains.
Yeah, we're working on everything with our supply chains.
So what we're doing is we're working really hard to buy local. We're working hard to buy family owned. We're working hard.
Working on getting all the toxins out.
We are working hard to get all the toxins. She's got some health issues. But we're working basically of getting rid of a lot of the home toxins and everything like that.
And off of Sarah too.
And Sarah too, and me and everything. And then, but things that we're doing is we're investing in our garden. This is our big investment this year.
Next year's chickens.
Yeah, next year's chickens.
You'll be seeing chickens coming with us.
Although, and I found some sheep, but I'm afraid sheep might eat our garden.
Oh,
so
I'd love to have a sheep.
But I found these Scottish sheep that they're heirloom breeds, and they're small, and you don't have to shave them because they just naturally molt off their wool. But you can collect their wool. And someone out there, maybe you might know, they're sowies or sires, or they're like a 4-letter word that starts with S. And
it's a Scottish
it's a Scottish sheep. They're a miniature breed, but they're a heritage breed. And we wouldn't have to mow anymore.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I wouldn't mind
that. But so we are seeing all these things take place, and so I've been watching and studying. I mean, how many books did I get so
Oh my
far?
gosh.
I've got a stack of books upstairs that I'm reading that I need to bring down here and start reading and everything. But
That's kind of what it's like. I feel so stupid sometimes because he'll be telling me all these things. I'm like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that.
but the thing is if you don't have your personal supply
Yeah.
chains in order, then and what's interesting, and I was telling Cynthia that I couldn't believe it, is that I was talking to a lot of preppers. I just got back, and that's why we haven't had any shows. I was gone for 2 weekends, and I went to the Mountain Readiness Expo, which was a great show. I mean, a great event, and met a lot of wonderful people, and
A lot of wonderful people.
a lot of wonderful people. And then I also went to Old School Survival Boot Camp, which was in Ohio. And that one had, gosh, even it was pouring rain, that one still had about 1,000 people a day show up, where Mountain Readiness probably had about 300 to 500, but still a lot of people coming out and everything. So I got a chance to really talk to preppers about all these things that are going on. And what I mean, it rather surprised me that what folks don't realize is that sanctions are coming for China. And watch for a video here soon. I'm going to be doing a video. In fact, I did an article. Go to my website, raymondmoore.com. I did an article on how the DoD is now pulling off anything Chinese made, as well as any materials, raw materials, or components that are Chinese made.
Trump on sideways.
So, for example, Arm & Hammer laundry soap, that is actually produced in China, bottled here, but it is made in China. So even though it's bottled here, DoD is going to start pulling these things from the commissaries and PXs and everything, and it's slowly spreading.
They're getting their American supply chain.
They're getting their American supply chain going. Fox News just reported several days ago that more and more companies are basically self-sanctioning China. And so we are starting to see more and more things becoming less and less available. And what people don't understand is that there are a boatload of goods and basically consumer goods and everything that we use daily that a lot of us preppers don't even think about. Why? Because we're using it daily. I mean, some of us are, doing good and everything. And, we've stocked up on some toothpaste and extra toothbrushes and stuff like that. But do we have everything truly covered? And in talking to a lot of these preppers and we're working on it.
We're seriously working on this.
But we still are catching up.
We're still finding places.
We're discovering holes.
Popped on.
Hi, hey, Heather, how you doing? So, but we're seeing these things, and what I'm telling people right now is start getting your personal supply chains in order so that when the SHTF does happen and these sanctions slap down, then you're again with Walmart and Target and all these other places that use just-in-time inventory. Well, what's going to happen when just-in-time inventory doesn't happen? And that is what we are seriously looking at. And
I used to shop Walmart. This has been really, really aged myself. I used to shop Walmart when it was owned by the father, Ray Walton was my favorite Martian. What was his name? My brain just died.
Yeah, who
anyway, the Daddy Walmart.
Daddy Walmart, yeah.
And the thing about Walmart then, what made it so special was if it could be bought American, it was in Walmart. And when Father Walton died, the sons came in and they went all the Chinese crap.
Yeah.
But I used to really, really appreciate shopping at Walmart because it was all American made things. And this is American family. This is what keeps our country going.
Yeah. And interesting enough.
Sam, good. Thank you.
Sam Walton.
Sam Walton.
Yeah.
Ray Walton was on My Favorite Martian. I'm really, really dating myself with that one. That was back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Late 60s.
but we're really hitting it hard, and I'm writing a lot of articles warning preppers to get their personal supply chains and going now, so that when all these things happen, and the thing is, with a stroke of a pen, it can happen overnight. And then we're looking at whatever is in the, coming or going or whatever. Once it's bought up, it's gone. And so we are looking at some serious issues taking place in the US come July 1st, oh, excuse me, June 1st. We are looking at default.
June 1st?
June
I thought it was
1st.
June 15th.
No, June 1st.
That's coming fast.
That's coming fast.
It's like 2 weeks.
So, it might be a wise idea to pull some cash out so you have some cash on hand. It's a good idea that if we do default, gold and silver are going to jump up in price. So if you have the ability to do that and everything, then I would highly recommend that you get some gold and silver on hand. Something that I love, and I've shown you these before. These are, gold backs. And this is a totally affordable way for folks who don't have a boatload of money to buy gold, because this is, so for example, this is a $5 gold note or a $5 gold back note,
and it has accept them?
And then this
some
one,
states already accept these.
This is Wyoming.
Okay.
In Wyoming, you can go in and use gold backs to basically pay your taxes. More and more stores are taking gold backs, because these are impregnated with gold. And so this is 1/200th of an ounce of gold. This is 1/1000th of an ounce of gold. And if you really want your gold, what you do is melt them down and collect your gold, because they're there. But these are becoming more and more popular. Nevada, Wyoming, Utah, New Hampshire, and I believe one of the Dakotas are now using these officially, and gold and silver. Missouri has just come on board saying that they are now going to start making gold and silver a legal tender in their state.
Really?
Texas, Tennessee, other states are starting to follow suit because they see the writing on the wall. The dollar is dying. And so June 1st, that's what's happening is if we default, then we're going to see a lot of things take place almost instantly. So get some gold, get some silver, and you can go to JM Bullion, which is where I get my stuff.
As an online company.
It's an online company. Okay. J&M Bullion, American Precious Metals Exchange, or you can go to goldback.com and look and see all the sellers who sell gold backs. But this is a great solution. This is $5, folks. Can you afford $5 worth of gold? This is worth it. This is about $12.50, and this is a $5 note, or maybe it's a little bit more. But you can get these, and so it's a great way for a person who doesn't have a $2,000 basically to go buy an ounce of gold to start putting gold into their account. Now, silver is sitting right now at $23 an ounce. I'm a huge fan of silver. I think everybody, let's see if we get it. Yeah, everybody needs silver. Oops. Everybody needs silver, but silver is a great thing to have on hand as well. So June 1st is coming. We're looking like we might default, and so
can you really think they're going to let that happen?
I honestly, I pray the Republicans stand their ground and that we default, because if we default, all of a sudden a lot of things come into play, and so the Republicans, I'm standing with them on this one. They, I as much as it is scary and everything, then it would create a bunch of check and balances that need to take place because we defaulted. And so there's rules and laws and regulations in place that if the U.S. defaults, this has to happen. And if the Republicans stand strong and we default, then what's going to happen is a lot of audits and a lot of government waste is going to be exposed and everything. Nice. And so it's a great way to have that all take place. In August, and this is another thing, in August, the BRICS nations are coming together in South Africa, and we have 23 nations that are applying to BRICS. Of those is Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Egypt, Venezuela, Indonesia, some of the other countries. But if BRICS brings in these countries, then what we're going to be looking at is BRICS controlling 80% of the world's oil, and
Wow.
with all these countries coming in. And so they're talking about, so that's number one. Number two, they're talking about creating a BRICS currency
Oh,
that is going to be backed by rare earth metals, precious metals, and then a basket of currencies. And so if that takes place, will the world run to this new BRICS currency and ditch the dollar, or will they, stay with the dollar? I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that a lot of people are going to be going to. I mean, if you had something that was an IOU versus tangible asset based, which thing would you choose? I
right.
mean, personally, I would say I would choose tangible asset based
Right.
versus IOU based. And so I think a lot of people are going to be running to this new BRICS currency, which in turn will cause dollars to flood back. We're going to see, inflation, if not hyperinflation. Now, with all that, even more bad news.
Yes. Is there anything good going on
In the fall? They are suspect, and in fact, Janet Yellen, if you are part of my Telegram group, please get on my Telegram group. Link is below in the description. Janet Yellen is calling and saying, well, we're going to need some more bank closures or more bank, what is it? She used the terminology, but basically they're looking at shutting down 270 banks. And these are, again, smaller mom and pop, maybe even medium-sized banks. And these are going to be absorbed by the big, the big four, big five: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Manhattan, and what's the other one that's, but they're basically more and more banks are going to be absorbed by these bigger banks. And so that's going to be taking place in the fall. And then also what's taking place in the fall is that because of the fertilizer shortage that is taking place right now, remember that slide that I showed you here, right there, fertilizer and potash.
How long ago was it we talked about this?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this one forever.
Time.
But fertilizer and potash are going to, again, global fertilizers are becoming a great shortage. Now, here in America, we have a commitment from Canada. We get most of our potash from Canada, so we really don't worry about it that much. But if we're producing all this fertilizer, what's going to happen is all these countries are going to come rushing to us looking for fertilizer. And like it or not, being good capitalists that we are, we're going to be selling to the highest seller or buyer. And so, basically the price of fertilizers is going to start going through the roof because the demand is going to be so high since we're the only ones producing it. Brazil produces it too, but Brazil is holding on to their potash. India produces it as well, but India is holding on to that. And so the only three countries that really produce a lot of potash is, us, Brazil, and India. And so we have kind of an excess. Wow. and everything because we pull our potash from Canada, and we're not beholden to all these other countries or anything for our potash. Well, all these countries are going to be coming to us. That's going to drive the price up immensely. So something you may want to do right now is pick up some fertilizer and get that and store that so that at least you have some on hand.
We have worms.
Yeah, we have worms.
We have worms.
And we make worm tea.
We make worm poopy tea.
Yeah. So
we don't drink it.
No. So
we make it for our plants.
And then Purdue
hey, we can start with Heather.
Heather says, let's see, scroll up, doing
she just got on.
Let's see.
Pickled asparagus, yummy.
Oh, yummy. That's yummy. Yes.
Yep.
Sam
Walton.
Yep.
She worked at Walmart for 12 years on third shift. That's the middle of the night, I think.
Stocking.
Stocking, yeah. Michael. We're doing Michael.
HP. Yeah, Michael says bought an HP laptop, and to my surprise, they shipped it from China. Interesting.
It is interesting.
So it's assembled in, because that's one thing that China has going for it. And even with their aging economy, they still have some great assembly. And that's basically one of the strengths that China has, but China doesn't really have the other strengths to back that up. They're great at assembling stuff. But because of their dying population, we're going to see that going to start going up too, because the Chinese are going to start demanding more money to assemble stuff. So they don't have 600 billion assemblers anymore, because they've had of that one China, or that one child rule over the last 50 years. That has seriously affected their ability to be cost effective within the economy. So let's see here. I agree with that. It's about time they did. We don't see kicking the can.
Yeah.
Down this one, nope, can't kick the can. Nope, it ain't. I mean, there's no can to kick, like it or not. And it produces. I don't see the dollar. I don't see the dollar dropping much. All that BRICS nations have to do, basically lower GDP than we do, and they still. And that's actually a very good point, Purdue, is that. Other countries can lower their GDP, or BRICS nations have to lower GDP than we do. The good thing, the problem is that Russia's at war. China doesn't have the population. Germany, and now Germany is showing up because the birth rate in Germany has been really very low. Who has really a good population are countries like Colombia. And then one of our best trading partners, as much as we may not like them or what's happening at the border, is Mexico. And so Mexico has a good population. What we're seeing in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years is a problem of manufacturing. And because a number of nations, the birth rates have been rather low, they're not producing. And so we have a lot of the baby boomers, and US isn't the only one that had the baby boomer issue. Almost every country in the world had a baby boomer situation take place, except for maybe the Congo or something.
You mean during World War II?
During World War II, yeah. So a lot of countries now have all these aging populations without the replacement of kids and everything. So Germany is also in dire straits right now, because they just haven't been, producing babies. And so any country that has not having a high birth rate, or at least a medium grade birth rate, are going to suffer within the next 10 years. But we're going to start feeling the effects of this probably starting in late winter of this year, and definitely the beginning and of next year. And so these things have been already in place. It's happening. And so the war is really messing with things and everything like that. So there's a lot of things that are taking place that we are almost sitting at a perfect storm. And so
I got a good comment from Heather has rabbits and chickens in 4 big compost bins.
Good job.
Bins too.
That's
for her.
what we need. We need to be more self-sufficient. Now is the time to start getting these things in order, start putting our own supply chains in order, and so that we can stand no matter what.
Looks like Heather's got that.
And Heather's got it going. My question is, how much of various microchips do we have in the U.S. in reserve? We don't.
She says, I don't see the semiconductor producers revealing that info.
Yeah. We have, I mean, we are having these and everything, and that's a great question. Honestly, I don't have that answer. But again, with Elon Musk lowering the price drastically of Teslas, tells me that he may not have such a large inventory of backup. And
why else would he lower the prices?
I mean, to get these cars out.
I understand. Yeah. I understand why he's lowering it. Why would he not increase the price? Everything else is going up and up and up. So he's dropping the price of his price. He has a reason to do that.
The reason is because then he can charge more to repair these vehicles, and everybody by that time are going to know that the chips are going to be a chip shortage. So he's going to be able to really charge high prices for repairing his vehicles. So why not throw out a bunch of these vehicles knowing that they're going to break down, And by that time, the whole world is going to know that there's a massive
Yes.
chip shortage. And he can go, oh, your
So,
car's
yeah.
broken, your Tesla's broken. Well, it's going to cost 3
Yeah.
times this much
Makes
because,
sense.
the chips just aren't there.
Clear off the lots and then worry
And
about repairing them later.
exactly, clear off the lots or worry
But
about
nothing
it.
else is coming down in price.
Nothing.
So the fact that he would be dropping his car price doesn't
Yeah.
make sense unless he has a reason to do that.
And he's a smart
man.
capitalist,
Mhm.
and
Makes sense.
So but these are, so the question, Purdue, is, how much does the US have in reserve? Personally, I don't know. The question is, how much do these companies, Apple, Samsung, Sony, all these major corporations, how much do they have in reserve, as well as how much does the US military have in reserve? And then something that we haven't even touched upon, medical.
That was last night. We started talking about
started,
medical, and it was like our minds were just like, think of how much you can't even have your blood pressure taken without a chip in there that's gonna, or your blood pressure machine goes off in the middle of the night.
How many have pacemakers?
Think about all the people with pacemakers keeping their hearts.
Think about all those things that feed you the IVs and track you and run your temperature and blood pressure and all these other things.
Yeah,
these are medium to high end chips, and so the medical field is going to be greatly affected. Greatly affected by this chip shortage.
Wow.
And some of these hearing aids now, like my mom, she's got hearing aids that Bluetooth to her phone, and she can talk to her hearing aids. She can do all kinds of things with her hearing.
Why would you talk to your hearing aid?
Huh?
I mean, turn up, turn
down.
Turn up,
turn down. Yeah. So that's voice recognition, and anything voice recognition is a medium to high grade chip. And so the medical industry is going to be severely affected, which, something that you guys may want to also start thinking about over the course of the remaining of this year. If there's any major medical things that you need to take care of, do it now, so that, again, you don't have to worry about. We need to get into the mindset that over the next 10 years, we may be seeing low inventory of just basically everything. And so by creating your own personal supply chain, having things like, I'm a big fan of Excalibur. I'm a big fan of the Nutrimil Stone Grain Mill. I'm a big fan of the Food Saver and some of these other items. Get these things now so that you're not playing catch up down the road and paying 4 or 5 times the price. I mean, I just look at the All-American pressure canner, that the 21 quart one. I sold mine, and I'm kicking myself to this day because, I don't really use it and everything like that. I picked up my All-American 21 quart canner for about, I want to say, what was about $185, new in the box, and I never used it. And so, since I never used it, I said, let's just sell it. I'm not going to can anything. I dehydrate everything anyways. Well, to this day, I'm still kicking myself because how much a 21 quart All-American costs now? They're running about $450.
Oh, wow.
For a pressure canner. And
that's why we don't have one.
We have a Presto. We have a Presto 21 quart canner. But I mean, these are things that, you don't want to live with the regret. Get this stuff now while the prices are still affordable, because if the BRICS currency comes and we see the banks being shut down and fall, our dollar is going to be greatly affected. And so by doing these things now, you're going to be paying less. I mean, would you rather pay, because right now the Excalibur is sitting for about $200, $220 in around there. Would you rather pay $220 or $2,500? And
we use ours all the time. Everything's always running on something.
Yeah.
We very set up. We don't even waste food anymore.
No, we don't.
At all.
Yeah.
If we don't eat it, we dehydrate it.
And I have
Heather's coming. So cute.
Let's see. I have a manual blood pressure.
Yeah, that's Katie. She's got it. That's smart.
That's a good one, Katie.
That's a good one to keep. Hang on to
stuff. Anything manual.
Yeah, I've got 2 blood pressure machines, and neither one of them work. And they're electronic, and neither one works. I go to the doctor's office. They go and get the right blood pressure.
Heather said 2 friends and I went plant shopping yesterday, and it's just fun. We went to Amish, which where they always go. And
you want to be Amish too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a slow life. That's just much slower life.
Yeah.
She went to garage sales citywide and got an All-American for $1.
Holy
Oh my God,
mackerel,
it's a
921. Yeah, and it's
Oh my
yeah, the
gosh.
921's about 420. Yeah.
It's missing one
Oh,
$8 piece. Good for you.
oh my goodness, what a
That
steal.
is a steal.
Yeah.
She got it for $1. I guess she gets the
Man.
award of the week.
That's the one that I had was the 921.
That's the one that you sold.
That's the one I
now
sold.
$400 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
422
new.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I mean, they're the best canner you can get. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree, less smart devices you have, the better. My laptop, my 4G phone, my truck is a 1997, has chips, but
much less stuff
in modern vehicles. So yeah, the more that you can simplify or replace now, because you're going to be looking at another, maybe 3 to 5 years before these start getting into a mass production. Because again, this is a Samsung. Cynthia has an Apple. And so when I say, shortage, you need to think mass production globally. And so these things are going to go up in price like crazy. And over these next 10 years, do you want this to break over the next 10 years? Or like an Excalibur or the All-American, or would you rather have a phone that you got brand new and at least it's going to last you for a while? Unless you're like me.
For like what? We've been there 4, 5, 6, probably 6 years.
Yeah.
My iPhone.
And that's what I've had. This one's for 6 years too. And I don't want to be replacing this when we're maybe in a depression era or maybe possible hyperinflation or anything like that. Because, why not get it now? Bite the bullet. Get it now, and then that way you don't have to worry about these things coming down the road. So
I was laughing. Heather has 5 pressure canners.
Send the 921 to me.
We'll pay you the $1 and $8 for the fee.
$5. $5 for that can. You're making $4 profit there, Heather.
But she wants to toss her phone in the trash. There are days I wouldn't do that too.
Yeah.
There are some days I just decide I put the phone away, I put the computer away, and I get so much done.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing, I listen for the school. So if the school was to call, it was here. Other than that, there's nothing that critical that can't wait. But Heather's probably too young to remember the days before we had cell phones.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she is. Maybe she isn't.
And she got small. She
offered me 3 times as much. Oh, $15. I'll beat that. 25. So
an auction for Heather's canner. She can make $25 on it.
But
I bet she about wet her pants when she saw that for $1. It was like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
But the thing is, and this is another good point, that, looking at Heather and everything, start looking at your garage sales, start picking up hand tools. Hand tools are going to be, I was rather surprised how much a shovel costs nowadays. A shovel used to be like 15, 20 bucks. They are stinking 50, 60 bucks for a shovel. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Garden tools are getting expensive. But start picking up garden tools. If you see,
tell them what you got for your birthday. Your garden tool I got you.
Oh, I got a hula hoe.
Tell them what I'm getting for my birthday.
What? Oh,
a weed hound.
A weed hound.
I also got a picture.
Well, I for those of you who are
for me.
If you guys know Naked and Afraid, and Stephen Lee Hall Jr., he is an artist, and so I contacted him and said, "Hey, here's a picture of us. Can you paint us?" And so he did, and that's what I did for Cynthia's birthday, and which is in 6 days from now.
Yeah, but that was so neat because I was laughing at church because I was telling people we had such romantic birthday presents. He got a weed hound, I got a weed hound, and he got a hula hoe, and then comes this beautiful painting in the mail for me. So
so a lot of extra.
He really did good with that.
Yeah, but start checking your estate sales. Estate sales are great places.
Estate sales are good places because the kids are just wanting to get rid of everything the parents had.
Food processors, all these other things, and it might be even a good idea to buy double, so that if one does break, you have something as a backup. The 2 is 1 rule. So, but start checking these things. Start checking Goodwills and everything. Start doing all these things now, because when an SHTF situation does finally take place, the Goodwills are going to be empty. They're, garage sales are going to be picked over, like already they're picked over. But,
Estate sales are fun.
Estate sales and everything are going to be picked over. So why mess with the sheeple herds versus getting all this stuff now? Because these things are coming down the pipe. And again, so I talked about June 1st, we're going to see maybe a default. August, we're going to see all these countries coming together with BRICS and maybe creating a currency. Fall, we're going to see probably about 270 banks basically die. And then that winter is going to be pretty grim, because already right now, farmers are not growing as much food anymore.
The costs have doubled.
The cost has doubled and tripled. And so this winter is going to be very, very interesting. So I highly encourage folks to start planting a garden now. Creating your supply chains. Know who the local farmers are. Know who the local purveyors of beef and pork are, or whatever. Start doing these things now so that you have these supply chains in place. And then, start looking at what you're going to do to replace your consumer goods. And so these are things that we are doing already. And in fact, I put a link below. If you guys want to know what we're doing and how we're transitioning completely, we're breaking away from Walmart, folks.
I hate Walmart.
And so what have you been seeing? We have been transitioning. And so the things that we've transitioned from.
I'm doing it for me because I have depression, I have migraines, I have arthritis. I mean, and it's just genetic. It's just how God made my body. But one thing that I'm doing is I'm getting off all the toxins, because I started thinking about that as we were talking about it. Everything I was putting on my body, including my makeup, had words and I couldn't even pronounce them. I had no idea what they were. And so I thought, if I'm going to keep slathering stuff on me, I'm going to make sure it doesn't have chemicals in it. And our little Sarah, our little granddaughter, all the cleansers I was using were full of chemicals. So, I couldn't ever even teach her how to wash, with Windex, because I didn't want her touching that. I didn't put gloves on the poor child. So I've got her now using these products. In fact, she loves it because she gets to get down and she gets to wash the floor around the floorboards and stuff. And she thinks it's great fun. And I'm like, yes,
yeah,
that's my kind of cleaning. Let the child do it. But it has helped. And I also take a very potent vitamin set now that has a product in it that you don't slough it out of your body. And I am feeling better. So he's doing it because of the prepper supply chain. I'm doing it for health reasons, because we've got a 7-year-old. We got to live long enough to get her raised. So that's the reason why I'm doing it. I'm looking at toxins and vitamins and the natural health care of that. So it's a good match, because he does the prepper stuff, making sure we have the supply chain, and then I use all the products and give him a yes or a no on them. So,
but if you're interested in what we're doing and everything, click the link below, contact me. I'll share what we're doing. And we did some price checking and everything just in the laundry soap. Our clothes are getting cleaner, and then it costs less. Because how many folks have you gone out and price Tide recently? Because Arm & Hammer just wasn't cutting it. My clothes still stunk and everything, but Tide is stinking $23 for a normal,
not even the mega one,
not even the mega one, not even and
we've gone
stuff.
over.
So we've switched over, and the laundry soap now that we're getting 92 loads for $19.
I'm sorry, I was reading about Heather's moringa. I was reading about that the other day, Heather, about moringa. But we were sitting talking about it the other night.
I used to grow moringa when I lived in Panama. Moringa is a great it's called the tree of life. It's from Africa. But when I lived in Panama, I had 20 moringa trees or moringa bushes that I got going. But moringa is great. It does all kinds of stuff.
It's good for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And so
you find out when you have babies what laundry soaps you're allergic to, because you have to have their own soap. At least I believe we did with Leanne way back when, because some babies are allergic. This stuff is great. I really like what we're using.
Yeah,
and I like the fact that I'm not afraid
all
of
natural,
Heather
plant based. The company's
Heather.
family owned. All this other
Sarah.
stuff.
I called Sarah Heather.
But
sorry, Heather.
if you're interested in what we're doing, link is
Yeah.
below. Contact us, and I'll share with you what
Yeah.
we're doing. So
we're happy with it.
Yep, very
It's
happy.
working well for us.
So
But we need to get off because we are keeping these people late.
Yep, we are now
Late.
4 minutes
I know.
over.
How
Oh
terrible.
my
And I would think I was
goodness.
4 minutes late
So,
getting here.
folks, do me a favor, and if you haven't done so, get my latest book.
It's a good book.
You know,
He sold a lot of those things.
Yeah.
He sold a lot of books at those two
But
conferences.
if you get this, folks, do me a favor, leave a 5-star comment and everything. And if you do, contact me on the side, and I'll share my appreciation for a 5-star review. But I got a lot of comments, and I'm still getting emails.
Can I brag on you?
Yes, go ahead.
He even when he was doing his teachings at these two shows he went to, he had so many people come up to him and tell him that his show or his talk was the best talk there, because if you can imagine him here, stand him up in front of a bunch of people and Kilted, and he is in his prime. So I just wanted to brag because I was very proud of you for that.
Yeah,
and he sold a ton of books because it's a good book, and he was keeping the audience guessing so far as recipes in it, and yeah, he did really, really. And he took our little Daphne with him, so Daphne was kind of a showgirl too.
I think Purdue saw Daphne and everything. If Purdue is who I think it is, starts with a D.
Yeah, I don't want to say your name since you don't have your name in it.
Yeah, but yeah, we. Great book. I'm getting some great reviews from folks already, and emails and everything.
Michael Caro, yeah, ours says me too. Michael, our place, we're good.
Yeah, and in fact, just if you check my Facebook wall or you belong to my Telegram group, I just posted that we now have a source for clean meat. No mRNA, no hormones, no antibiotic, none of this junk.
Your change doesn't stick to it in the grocery store.
Yeah, your magnets don't stick to it. So, but check that out. We just secured a beef source of clean meat.
Yeah, he just said the same thing. No mRNA in it.
Yeah, no mRNA.
They're allowed to just be pumping that into the cattle now.
Check that out. I'll be glad if you guys are interested in knowing our beef source. Again, contact me. I'll tell you about it, where we're getting it from. It is mail order beef, and everything is about half the price of butcher block, and it's all clean, where a lot of these other beef sources are not. And so, but this one is totally clean. And
we bought our last cow though from a local farmer here.
Yeah.
To make sure that it was clean meat.
Yeah, and so
we get our bacon from a local Amish Mennonite.
We get our bacon from Mennonites,
and they don't have anything in theirs either. So,
but
when you go into Walmart and stick a quarter on meat and it sticks to it, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, a magnet.
I'm sorry. It was a magnet, not a quarter. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm tired. It's been a long day. You can tell I'm tired.
Yeah, Michael says we need to get our meat from local grass-fed farms, which is what we've done. Joel Saladin said that they are giving hers mRNA. Yep. Yeah, the meat source of which I'm talking about is free of mRNA. They're not doing anything like that. They allow the calves to be raised by their mamas, and so this is a great source.
Happy cows.
So happy cows. The grain they're feeding is non-GMO and everything, and it's raised in Montana. The packaging plant and everything is right there on the ranch, so there's no stress on the animals or anything like that.
Well, I would think killing the animal would
it's a great, this one is a good one. And so again, if you're interested in clean beef, contact me again. I'll be glad to share it with you. Tell you what we're doing is, again, securing our supply chains, and I want to share these opportunities with you. It's because that way you guys can secure your supply chains as well. But in the meantime,
I'm sorry, I interrupted you before.
Buy my book. And then this is another, Survive the Comings. This book, and I'm actually going to update this with some of the other information that we've just learned. But basically how to survive hyperinflation and so forth. And if you don't have a 401k or anything, what are you going to do with your money? And that's what we're gonna, Alaska Prepper, several of the other prepper, Southern Prepper and everything, start putting your cash into tangible assets. And so I talk a lot about tangible assets besides gold and silver, a lot of things in this book, what you can do. And then weaponize if you're worried about security, home security, personal security, and office security. Then this is again a book for you. We've been securing our home. We've been continuing to do that. We're constantly doing upgrades and everything. Our home is our fortress. We are not bugging out. We're bugging
staying.
and we're staying. And so we're hardening the castle.
And we're also hardening the castle for other people that don't have a place to go.
Yep. So we do have.
So we have a lot of.
We know
we have
food and everything because we know that people are going to be showing up. So.
We are way late now. We're 11 minutes.
Sounds like a great source. Yes, it is, Michael. Yeah. Contact me.
Happy cows, happy us. That's true.
So,
yeah. And Heather says it still baffles them. There's so much evil around. It should, but it is.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes I can't even think about it because it's too overwhelming.
Yep.
How bad everything has gotten.
Yep. So, but do me a favor, if you're new, you're watching here and everything like that, like, subscribe, and share, and then ring that little bell so that you get notified when we do live videos or post videos and stuff. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my Telegram news group. Folks, I am sending out news like crazy that you're not getting anywhere else. And then also get on my free newsletter.
Yes.
Because in both cases, I'm sending out buy alerts. I'm sending out other pertinent information. And so if
when he comes across a great sale, he sends it out immediately.
Yeah. And so jump on these things. My newsletter is free. Telegram is free. And things. So jump on these. And again, all these links are down below in the description so that you can find them and everything. Start checking, go out and bookmark my website because I've been writing. I'm now back up to writing speed again. A lot of things have already taken place, all these conferences and everything. So now I'm going to start posting a boatload of articles. And what I'm teaching right now is I'm really hoping that the prepper community will start creating and doing their own personal supply chains. That's my big drive. People need to get prepared because SHTF is coming fast, in my opinion. And so we need to prepare for it so that we're not fighting in the aisles or doing anything else like that. So
when you also get leads of where people can go so far,
and that's what I'm doing too.
Their own,
how to create your own supply chains and everything too. So these are things that as we find them, we're sharing them with you. So I'm getting news from you. Thanks,
Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Nice. So like Heather had to go plant some more tomatoes.
Yep.
We need to get some a girls trip to go out to her house.
What?
Get some of us girls to go out to her house.
Oh, yeah, really?
I mean, it sounds like she has meat and cans all the time. It sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah. And then another thing that I'm looking at doing, do me a favor, post below if you are interested in doing a once a month online class. Ugh, my tongue is getting tired.
Yeah.
Once a month online class. I'm really thinking about doing a Saturday Night Live and just doing a class, a teaching. And so there's a lot of things that I've taught over the years. And so I'm really looking at doing that. But comment below what is the things that you are interested in learning. I know one thing I'm going to be doing is a dehydrating class. And so since it was such a hit at both of these conferences and everything, I'm going to be, doing that and everything. Miss Cynthia will help filming and things.
Yeah.
So,
Christine, I'm doing the same thing, Christine. I'm trying to get off as much of the prescription drugs as I can. And I'm also trying to take lower doses. And I do feel better.
Yeah.
I do feel better.
So,
and I feel better taking strong vitamins that I'm absorbing.
Yeah.
I really feel
the vitamins that we have her on now are there. It's
amazing because you know how you take vitamins and then you have to go to the bathroom afterwards and it's bright yellow because your body sloughs them all out. This doesn't do that. You go to the bathroom and it's I can't say it's clear, but it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. And I feel much better. But I can't even take a nap in the afternoon because I still have energy.
So she's and these are things that we're slowly replacing so that we're ready for all this.
But that we need to get off.
Yep.
let them get back to their lives.
Yep.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
It's been nice.
I appreciate you guys being patient with
Mhm.
us and allowing me the 2 weeks where I had to go off and go,
Yes.
you know.
It's nice to have them home.
Yeah. But we love doing this. It was a lot of fun. Take action, folks.
Yep.
So anything else?
No. Goodbye. God bless. Love
I'm
you,
Raymond
and
Moore.
Thank you. And Cynthia.
And Cynthia. So we'll see you. Goodbye. God bless. And Kilted. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.